You may be wondering, what is sustainability? According to Tom Kuhlman and many other researchers and professionals, there are three main pillars of sustainability.
These three pillars are the economic, environmental, and ethical/societal pillars. And for a policy or product to be fully sustainable, all three must be fully incorporated. Within the environmental pillar, there are three main subsections I'd like to cover. First, living within the means of an ecosystem. Secondly, preserving the natural spaces of an ecosystem. And then minimizing the harm of products in an ecosystem.
So you may be asking, what is an ecosystem? According to National Geographic, an ecosystem is a geographic area where plants, animals, and other organisms, as well as weather and landscape, work together to form a bubble of life. This can come in many forms, from smaller ecosystems like this tide pool in front of us, where you could see many different types of algae, starfish, and the ocean working together in harmony to create a long-living, sustainable system of life that everything can thrive in. We can also extend this to more terrestrial life.
And larger plots of land. For example, a wooded foothills, as you can see on the screen.
Where you have your mountains and rivers providing the water of life to the plants and animals surrounding it. The plants then are eaten by the animals, which then can grow, die, and provide nutrients to other animals or even to the plants themselves. This creates a cycle that allows for life to continue on and be sustaining as long as environmental factors are not thrown off the spectrum. This can even be abstracted even further to our whole planet. And each ecosystem is not an independent system that has no interaction with the surroundings. They are all interconnected. And if there's a change to one ecosystem, their neighbors and their neighbors' neighbors can all be affected. For example, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration highlights a key example between two ecosystems, the Mississippi River Delta and the Gulf of Mexico. The Mississippi River runs through hundreds of miles of farmland in the United States, and it transports runoff nutrients and material and organic material from these farms to the Gulf of Mexico, providing much needed nutrients to the aquatic life in the area. However, as food demands have risen over the last decades, farmers have started using pesticides and fertilizers in excess on their farms in order to produce the maximum amount of food. These excess pollutants are then carries it into the Mississippi River and down to the Gulf of Mexico. This then creates a dead zone where it is almost impossible for life to live due to depleted oxygen levels. More can be found out in the video linked on this page. This dead zone then continues it to expand, killing more and more animals, and has a ripple effect throughout the local and wider ocean ecosystem. So if all ecosystems are connected, how are we connected to our ecosystems and how can we live sustainably within them? One model of economics that is particularly sustainable is the donut economic model, as seen before you. The three major sections are the ecological ceiling, the social foundation, and the factors on either side of the foundation ceiling. The ecological ceiling means that we as humanity cannot use more of the environment in any one way, or else we'll create long-term impacts on our environment, such as climate change, air pollution, and or like freshwater withdrawals. However, In order to be socially just and allow humanity to live and thrive, there's a minimum amount of development that humanity must do in order to keep fresh water available, food on the table, and places to live where social, gender, and political equality are available and able to be used. And we need to balance our activities within these two ends of the spectrum in order to be environmentally sustainable while also being socially and economically sustainable as well. So, with that in mind, how do we create products that are environmentally friendly and sustainable? I will go through the case example of an electric vehicle. I will first start where the electric vehicle is bought and used, as it seems to be environmentally friendly, as we are no longer using gas-powered engines and purely electricity. However, that electricity could come from coal burning power plants, and we have to then look into both the manufacturing process and the disposal process of this car.
This relates to one of the key points of the environmental pillar. How do we create products that minimize the environmental harm that they make?
When considering the sustainability, there are three main phases of a product: the manufacturing, the usage, and the end of life of each product. This can be seen in the visual provided, where you first have to account for the raw materials that are going into a product, then how the product's being designed, how the product is being purchased, then produced, and then stored. Then also the distribution and transportation must also be taken into account. Then once the product's being used, you must take into account how the product will be maintained or eventually disposed of in an environmentally friendly way. I will be primarily focusing on production, materials, and end of life for the remainder of the video. If you would like to learn more about this process, check out the link provided. For example, electric cars are very sustainable in terms of manufacturing and in their everyday use case. However, the materials that these cars, specifically the batteries, are made out of are very damaging to the environments. And once batteries of electric cars get decommissioned,
There is currently no
sustainable way to repurpose or decommission them safely. This causes a significant amount of environmental impact at the beginning and end of these cars' lives. Additional information can be found about the environmental impacts, both positive and negative, of electric cars in the links shown to the side. This is where I've drawn the information for this video.